Welcome friends, today I want to talk with you about carbon fiber slides, in this case from Butler Trombones. This is a Holton TR-183 and I ordered the outer slide from David Butler Trombones in Texas. I've had it for a couple of years. I just thought I'd share my opinions with you about it. First of all, who is this for? Anybody who regularly plays fast music, I'd highly recommend it. The thing just like shit off a shovel, you'd say. Let's compare a lick from Les Sacs Boutières, a beautiful Renaissance piece that's fairly fast. The thing is, it's just so light. It's almost like a toy. It's a completely different experience of playing. Here's my Canstall 1662. Now this is like a heavyweight slide because of the TIS system, right? So this is like a completely other end of the spectrum. Did you hear a difference? I felt the difference. My tonguing wasn't quite as clear. Is that the mouthpiece? Is it the horn? It's the slide as well, because you need to work harder to slot in place, you know. So when it comes to fast playing, this carbon fiber slide is very interesting. So for jazz players, virtuosic players, anybody playing in styles that's regularly fast, this is certainly an interesting option. Now, the second category of person this is interesting for is people with injuries, prone to injuries. Because it's so light, right, there is just so much less strain on your neck area. Briefly, my story, when I was studying in Holland with Ben van Dijk, who you probably know, in Rotterdam, I was practicing quite a lot and eventually got an injury that went up to my neck area. And this got chronic for a long time. Even after I recovered, that's the reason I play with this ergo bone. And for years, I couldn't even play 30 seconds on anything without this ergo bone. Now, interestingly, since I've also got the Butler C12, completely carbon fiber. But since I've got these slides, when I got the Butler C12, I suddenly realized, my God, is it the slide that's the issue for me? You know, that kind of tension you need to produce when you're sliding. I came to the conclusion it wasn't so much the weight of the trombone pushing backwards that was causing the injury, but it was more this tension when I was sliding. So I only realized that after getting these carbon fiber slides. So it's a very interesting option for anybody who might be having issues in this area, possibly also arm, especially elbow issues, you know, kind of tennis elbow, simply because it's so damn light. It just, as long as it's well cleaned, it just flies really fast. I just mentioned cleaning, happen to have this. So the thing is, it has to stay dry. As soon as moisture gets in it, it really clogs. You can see here already, it's not falling down. I just cleaned it. I put a bit of Yamaha lube on, and it slides well. It slides fast, but it has the tendency to clog up very quickly. So you need to keep it dry. You know this from Slider Mix. It's a sheath which can go in the washing machine. That's a great thing to have nearby. Some people hang the slide upside down after playing. I would say it's okay. It needs a bit more attention. It clogs a bit faster than normal brass slides, but you get a payoff. You get these advantages, right, with bodily stuff. I've had to make a part 2 of this video because there's one essential story that I forgot to mention. I had a nightmare with the Butler C12 outer slide. After about 1.5 years, bear in mind I had the prototype model. I think I was the first European to order this trombone because of the bodily issues I was having. I'm very glad I did, but after about 1.5 years of playing, it just was clogging up so badly. It was basically unplayable. No matter how I cleaned it, it didn't help. After seconds, it would just clog up. Now, I got in touch with David. He thought it might be an alignment issue. I went to 2 techs. They did their best. It didn't get any better. So he recommended I send it back to him. And in the end, what he had to do was simply wax the inside of the slide with some carbauba wax. he details it in his website. I was pretty disappointed that he didn't suggest that before sending it to America. I had an absolute nightmare getting it back through customs. Had to pay customs tax a second time. Here in Germany, it's become a nightmare with something that could have been done easily from home. He's, in the end, from this experience, he actually made a video detailing this waxing procedure. You need to get a drill and some cloth, wax it up and get it through the slide. So I took one for the team. Hopefully you don't need to go through this. I've heard other people also getting this clogged up thing and just aren't aware that it needs to be done. So raise some awareness on that point. Let's say I took one for the trombone community. Maybe you can just hit subscribe as a thank you for this great hardship that I've had to endure to get the slide working again. I'm very happy that this the C12 slide is working very well, pretty much like new again. This waxing job is something to be aware of. One other thing, the normal Butler recommends not to use any of the hard chemicals that you might use to clean the inside of a brass slide. I think it's the epoxy that's within. There's some epoxy glue, something within his slides, possibly gluing the spit valve. So be careful with that too. Basically, don't do what I do and go on his website, watch everything. If you have one of his slides, really clue yourself up with cleaning procedures. There's also a Facebook group. End of cleaning nightmare story. Back to the rest of the video. So let's move on to sound. I'll do a separate comparison video with carbon and brass slides. I've got quite a few videos, I'll link them below, already using these horns. But just to bring it to a conclusion, in terms of the attacks, it's very clear. It's really got a nice kind of biting quality. Again, great for big band, when you need to cut through. In terms of range, etc., there's not much difference. I sometimes got the feeling that it closes up a little more in the high register. I'd say the low register is where it excels and with sharp attacks. Apart from that, the only thing to note is the slotting moving from partials is a little bit more unstable, you could say. It just wobbles. It doesn't quite slot in as quickly. Aside from that, as I said, if you're playing fast, if you've got injury stuff, this is a wonderful thing. So, yeah, David Butler, I'm very, very happy you've done this. Thank you very much on behalf of the trombone community. He basically makes these slides for nearly any model of trombone. There's a form on his website. He asked for exact measurements when it arrived. I've also got the Yamaha 612 with this. It needed a bit of a jimmy from my tech just to get it really perfectly aligned. It was a very small job. And then it works fine. So consider buying them. I think the waiting list is pretty severe with Butler trombones, but it's worth it. Costs about, let's say, from $800 to $1,000 for the outer slide. You might say a lot of money, but if it saves you some tension, etc., it's worth it. So just to finish that story about my injury stuff, this horn, this Holton, for example, that's my go-to without the ergo bone. It's just sitting there on the stand, and when I just want to play for a few minutes, I can just pick it up without having to put this harness on, which is beautiful because it's that spontaneous practicing, which I just love, following the inspiration, the joy. Sometimes you just, those few minutes of putting on the strap may stop you from practicing. So I've noticed I can go with this Holton single valve with the carbon fiber slide for a few minutes, let's say, up to 5-10 minutes without maybe a little bit of muscle strain, but nothing that can't recover, nothing that becomes chronic. So check it out. It's a great option. Comment below. Have you checked out these carbon fiber slides? Are there other companies making them? I know Carbauba, I think in Switzerland, makes carbon fiber. I haven't checked them out yet. Some people claim they sound better. Let us know in the comments. See you next time. Happy sliding.